Exactly a week has passed and HBO again pleased the fans by giving us one of the most controversial episodes in the history of the series The Last of Us, and so many just started we can already say that some the series and it will stand out more. Others on the network have already criticized series for being canonical. However, let's try to rehabilitate the episode and let's try to figure out if it's a masterpiece or the series has already turned not on that lane. So get settled, more comfortable. Well, we begin. Of course, we understand that most of you will watch this video after the third series, so somehow you and yourself form your opinion about episodes. Someone will surely join the number of game true fans who will hate the third episode for its own liberty and non-canonicity. Really, if you remember the game, then our acquaintance with Bill was absolutely another. There Joel got trapped with refrigerator and being tied down, head shot back from zombies. Then we learn that all the traps are set uniquely belong to mothers and survivalist Bill, who lives alone and does not like guests. However, being he was a survivor smuggler Joel, so when that together with Ellie turned to Bill for help, he was forced to help. The old familiar trio of characters had to look for a battery to start the car and send Joel and Ellie Tommy along the way. We also learn that Sometime Killed had a partner named Frank and didn't get along character with Bill. He decided to get away from he really was bitten on the way by Frank and not wanting to become infected, he hanged himself. Joel found Frank's note and gave her saw, but reading the contents notes, Bill just grinned and threw away her after that. After a couple of three-shot runners in the car succeeded start the engine and the hero was driven into Logan cosplay Sunset, and at a glance it's true. But let's analyze the series in detail. After death capital test, Joel and Ellie as in the game went to the Bill to score supplies and understand what to do next on the road. A couple talks about the past, and then Ober and Martella shed light on the first days of infection. We see a scene with the same crashed plane that was on the first official frame of promotional companies of the series, and also find out how events unfolded at the very beginning. Infection, the world collapsed literally for weekend. Series once again confirmed the information about the infection through flower products. What is now official considered canon. Surprising that doomed humanity caused neoatomic warheads and not the arrival of an asteroid, but a mixture for pancakes. However, this information, and so it was known to us earlier, where the words of Joel and the military sounded more terrible, who were cruel from the start. Epidemics, it was not time that changed them, but they initially used the most stringent and sometimes extra precautions. Yes, perhaps thanks to them humanity and could survive. But that's not entirely true. Bill single-handedly managed to hold out as at least 4 years before meeting Frank, if judging by the frames from the beginning of the flashback. Ben Beat initially did not get into quarantine area, thus avoided cleaning. If did you notice that people from the area Bill who got into the truck at the beginning of the epidemic were later killed? HBO military decided to sneer over making a theme for conspiracy theorists. Bill just such a guy. And even with hard level of sociopathy is obtained that according to the series alone in the world infected cordyceps were able to survive. Only such guys are in Mirnoye time. Everyone considered cuckoo. After 4 years solo lives, Bill equipped himself with a mega dwelling and set a bunch of traps that partly corresponds to the game. At least they showed me exactly where he lives, Bill, and we've only seen some of his shelters, although the district in which the game Bill and Joel had to push the car looks a bit like the one in which TV series lived by local Bill Frank. Next we are shown a long and beautiful history, the lives of two men who found happiness to each other in this broken world, grow old in an atmosphere whereon each danger is waiting for you. The greatest rarity. This topic by the way even raised in the second part of Last of Us. If you watched the third episode and saw just a non-canonical story of a constricted behind the years of the agenda, then, oddly enough, we discovered a masterpiece cutting hard without anesthesia. Is there an agenda? Yes, she was nothing in the game. Amazing we weren't shown hard Ellie's acquaintance with Bill. Do we need see a person to Understand who he is so you can hear about him, see him house, and understand who is the owner in it, or read the note full of sarcasm and harsh sociopathy even to Bill's friend Joel. She found a bunch of weapons in the house and in generally assessed the level of comfort in the world post-apocalypse as a titanic work arranged far from stupid and armless human. And in the finale of the episode, the characters also got the car from heading to the road to tone. This way the whole main chain events was clearly observed that before small details than we being people without prejudice with a pure heart perceive what is happening on the screen calmly, and want to say that this is one of the most beautiful love stories in the world. Mathograph White Frank went through the fire and water and fought together as if for their home and for my life. But unfortunately, even in a changed world, man has not ceased grow old and get sick. And these problems have become especially relevant in times without doctors' equipment and proper treatment. Despite all his training, he beat and Frank were ready to fight anyone besides death itself. It is very tragic and incredibly beautiful. Bravo HB bravo. And the most important thought that we would like to convey to you: in the game, Bill served as a beacon for Joel. Looking like this sociopath goes insane alone, Joel realized that he does not need to be more so who he is, and after that he became more to care about. We're getting closer to her. Well, in the series, Bill serves as an example for Joel, but only positive. In essence, he inspires Joel to do the same deed, but in other ways. And this damn brilliant. Again, bravo. And here it is worth making a small remark for our old viewers. If you have long watched us, you probably know with what warmth we relate to Netflix The Witcher, and especially for its second season. The writers changed the canon so much that even Henry Cavill refused its shoot, and many of you can. The question arises, why is it suddenly not the canonical Witcher? In our opinion, is horror as pitch, and the third is not canonical. The last episode from Masterpiece among masterpieces. Well, and this is quite correct answer the question honestly. Art's subjective, and this is the greatest law of all related to art film industry. We are sure that many movies you have watched in your life, so to speak, they clung to your soul. At the same time, a clear explanation of why they are better you will hardly find. Any other good acting is found in thousands pictures, as well as a script with music and special effects, but units cling to us, and sometimes without graphics from the acting game. But if carried out with the same Witcher parallel, doesn't need to be a genius to understand that in the series we will not show like Geralt that trillion times whistles we would never see him in court, and diverges to the stones of power, and how he tends time drinking all sorts of gameplay potions. Elements for that are gameplay. Well, every modern game has, and cinematic trailers that often, even with the game, do not converge. Movies, film adaptations, or adaptations of books, comics, and games, and various elements logically undergo changes considered non-canon. It's just changes for better quality script suitable for the format of the series. Plus, it is worth understanding that even gaming films on the first part of Dallas AC on average it takes about 6 hours, and we have 9 big series, 2 of which are already running more than an hour. The series would inevitably be supplemented with something from above. Then it became beautiful story of Bill and Frank, and again same with the overall plot of Netflix. The Witcher pushed away on my agenda and notions which were not only in games, so they also spoiled the overall plot, and in this case, all the main and significant moments remained in place, did not diminish the intrigue of the plot at all. And even more in the HBO series, much more often there is a loss of TPP and the impact of its loss on Joel. Yes. And by the way, without Easter eggs here, also not done at the beginning of the episode, Joel and Ellie went into the hiding place where the girl stuck in slot machine, repeating similar moments from the game. Joel also set a number of rules for Ellie that also matched them game dialogue. Near the series finale, the heroes were able to start the car thanks to Bill and Ellie's battery turned on a cassette with music that almost repeats the eponymous scene from the game. Well, of course, the same clothes of the main characters at the end of the series fully corresponds to their gaming way. Therefore, Even in not the most canon series can be found enough pleasant and memorable references for fans and Easter eggs, and at the end, given the theme of this video, I would like to add a few words about losses that happened the other day. Literally the night before the release of the third series did not become actress Annie Peaks, which in the original game will play test cause of death was cancer. For their 45 years old Hay did not have time to check in such projects like The Vampire Diaries Supernatural and also in series 24 Hours, so coincided what exactly is the final. The third series became a kind farewell to her heroine who died in last episode. Goodbye Taze, we will miss